Hello and welcome to Beauty In, Beauty Out, or BIBO Foundation right here on CAN TV. I am Tracy S. Campbell. I'm the founder of the BIBO Foundation as well as the BIBO Awards, and we want to thank you for spending your evening here with us. Now, if you joined us a couple of weeks ago, we had a holiday. So if you joined us a couple of weeks ago, you were entertained by the amazing Jordan Johnson of the Sky Cares Foundation. We had a blast with him. He was absolutely wonderful. And the amazing work that the Sky Cares Foundation does in the local Chicagoland community, especially with youth and military veterans. And so they are one of our supporters this year of the BIBO Awards, and we have all sorts of great information about them on our site. And also, speaking of the BIBO Awards, we are just 2 weeks away from honoring some incredible women. Once again, our 5th year anniversary, 120 women, if you can believe that we've honored in various cities: Chicago, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Atlanta. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. And so we are looking forward to the next 5 years. But if you want to join us to celebrate another class of BIBO women that we're going to induct on September the 23rd, if you want to come out and be a part of that, as well as get a little more connected to the BIBO Foundation, it's really easy. I'm going to throw up the contact card right now. You can go to www.thebibofoundation.org/on-air. There you can look at previous episodes of our show and learn about some of our incredible people we brought to you this summer. You can email us at info@thebibofoundation.org if you just want general information about us and all of our great programs and initiatives. And of course, you can call us at 1-800-365-3203. Now, once again, I am joined by another incredible guest. This woman, oh my goodness, I can't wait for you to meet her. She is truly a servant in the community. She is truly an advocate for our homeless population. And guess what? She's also one of our honorees this year. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Neli Vazquez Rowland. Neli, thank you for being here.
Tracy, thank you for having me.
I tell you, I'm so excited because you are just amazing, and everyone's going to find out just really soon just how amazing you are. And you're no stranger to CAN TV, right?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So it's like bringing you back home to the family, so to speak.
It really is.
Awesome. Well, Neli, I'm going to start out by asking you a question that we ask of all of our guests. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you to be a 2017 BIBO Awards honoree?
Well, Tracy,
not to put you on the spot, not to put her on the spot, right?
It is, well, it's an incredible honor when someone recognizes you for the work that you do. But really, for those of us that serve, we know what a blessing and a privilege it is to be in a position to serve.
It is.
So to be given an award for something that you, are passionate about, that you love to do, and is a labor of love, and to be honored and recognized by people that you truly respect and appreciate just as much is truly a blessing.
Well,
so
I tell you,
I want to thank you for recognizing
us. Oh my goodness.
us.
Thank you so much, Neli. No, we truly appreciate you and just the work you've done over 20 years, if I'm correct, over 20 years of serving, of developing a safe haven, which is just incredible. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but it is the largest or one of the largest organizations that services and helps the homeless population. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Wow, that is an incredible accomplishment. And we have a few pictures that I want to share with you, everyone, of a safe haven, because this is just a fantastic and very needed organization in our community. So I'm going to turn your attention to my computer screen here. So that's a safe haven. That's the location. You are not actually too far away from here.
No, we're literally 5 minutes away. I'm putting my GPS. Got here in 5 minutes.
Awesome. So that is the front of a safe haven. Now, this picture is one that I grabbed. I thought that this was pretty neat. Now, you actually are helping the homeless population. Mm-hmm. And this picture, I believe, is this some of the folks or some of the individuals that you're helping and helping them learn other skills. Is that it?
Yes, one of the beauties about A Safe Haven, it's a very holistic model, and beyond the fact that everyone that comes to A Safe Haven needs a roof over their heads, we do provide shelter and semi-private suites, which really gives them their dignity. But we
Great.
also assess them to find out what kind of work skills they have, and for those that have an interest and a propensity to really work in the in the fine culinary arts, we do training, and we offer a 9-week training program, and we're really proud of the fact that we find some hidden gems among
Yes.
the people that we serve, and they find that they have a knack and really a propensity to be very successful in the field. We're really proud to be a big resource for a lot of restaurants. Chicago is the mecca and
Yes,
the
it is. It's a
the
foodie
restaurant
town.
capital of the world. And from my understanding, we're looking at opening up here in Chicago just 30 more restaurants, like in
Wow.
the next year or two.
Wow.
So we're a big resource for them.
That is fantastic. Now, these beautiful, beautiful flowers, I'm sure those of you out there that are watching, you probably have seen something similar to this in downtown Chicago. Nellie, your organization has something to do with this, right?
Yes. In addition to the culinary arts
Yes,
training, we
yes.
also train people. By the way, they're on-the-job training programs, to work in the field of landscaping.
Wow.
And a lot of people that we serve, Tracy, have barriers to employment. So the first thing we need to do is to really get them a work ethic and a work skill,
Yes.
and pay them while they do it, so that we can build their resume. And at the same time, we give them, the tools that they need to be successful long term. So in addition to that, they get financial literacy classes and
Wonderful.
And things like that. So we're a big resource for the construction and landscaping industries that are looking to fill positions for laborers as well.
That is great. And here we have, it looks like a young lady that is taking an interest in her health, I hope, judging by this picture. Is that also something that you try to instill in the women that you help? That, do they have opportunities to get healthcare assistance?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
So just to put it in a nutshell for you, so everyone that comes to A Safe Haven really gets assessed in 4 areas. First thing we do is we give them a physical. We want to know what's going on, right, in their
Right.
health, because if they're homeless, they've probably neglected their health. The other thing we do is we assess them as far as their education. And as far as their social determinants, like is it a drug problem, is it a domestic violence issue, how long have you been homeless, and what are some of the underlying issues that may have led them to homelessness. In addition, we assess them in terms of their work experience and their background, and again, what they might have an interest in. So we can connect them on all areas at a level that really meets them where they're at. So yes, we do have healthcare on site. We have a nurse
Wonderful.
practitioner, and we have all kinds of cohorts that come in from universities that are doing their training at A Safe Haven. So it's a beautiful thing to make sure that everyone gets to where they need to go. From the moment they walk in the door, we need to know what's going on and how we can help each and every individual.
Wonderful. And look at this picture here.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I had to throw that one in there. Nellie. You have an awesome 5K every year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, well, that's kind of a personal
Oh, okay.
little agenda that I have. My goal is, one of the things that A Safe Haven doesn't have is a gym.
Okay.
Tracy. And
Okay.
I know for my own mental health,
Right.
I need to go out for a run, and I need to get some exercise. And this was my way of, starting the 5K run was really my way of introducing people in the community to fitness. So for the last previous 6 years, we held this 5K run to end homelessness
Awesome.
right in Douglas Park in the community. And it's really exciting to have seen people that had nothing to do with running,
Right.
all of a sudden, become, no pun intended, addicted to running, as a very positive way to get, back on their feet. So this event has really grown in many ways. It's something that we do that allows everyone to be a part of it. You can volunteer, you can run, you could walk, you could support it, or just cheer people on. And the people that we serve happen to be a big part of that program and that event.
Wonderful. Well, I tell you, it's obvious that a safe haven, now I understand why you have such success, why you are the largest installation of your kind in the U.S., which is no small feat, everyone, obviously, because you are looking at homelessness and looking at the person who is homeless holistically. It's not just providing a meal, here or there. It's not just maybe giving them shelter for 1 or 2 nights. It is truly a holistic approach to their whole being, which is amazing.
Right.
Which is amazing. Speaking of which, I actually have a video that I want to show everyone shortly here, because you have so many success stories. We're going to talk about one in particular in just a few minutes. But are you able to stay connected to the people that come through a safe haven? I mean, sometimes when we think of a homeless shelter, or we think of the proverbial shelter, you have this mindset, or you have this preconceived notion that it's a transient existence, right? You come in, you get help, you for a short period of time, and then you go off and you wish them well, and that's it, right? But I think that in your case, I think the folks stay connected, right? Don't they?
Yeah.
They stay connected with you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it becomes a family.
Yes.
It becomes a family. The average length of stay at a safe haven is actually around 90 days. So that's a lot of time.
It is.
And there's a lot of bonds that happen. Anytime anyone goes through a crisis type of situation, those people that are there, that are going through this crisis with you, inevitably become part of the support system that you rely on. So the people themselves, organically, what happens at a safe haven is not only do they build strong relationships with people that help them, but they also create strong relationships among themselves. Wow. So all throughout the Chicagoland area, and really across the country, if anybody sees me walking around with, my a safe haven, or they see a truck, we get a lot of high fives and a lot of hellos.
That's
and
awesome.
a lot of people that, make the statement of like what year they went through our program.
Wow.
So we've served over 100,000 people in the Chicagoland area. So that's a lot of people. And if you think of every individual, it's the ripple effect. You're touching the lives of their family, their children, their mothers, their cousins, their neighbors, people who really suffered along with them.
Right.
And being able to reconnect them with their families, again, that ripple effect is felt, in the family and throughout the community. So as people celebrate the fact that they've made it all the way back home, and they're proud, positive members of society again.
Yes.
It's exciting.
It is.
So we get a lot of support from alums, that have been through our programs. Anytime I need someone to come out and be a testimonial, whether it's a veteran or, a woman with with children,
Right.
there's always someone out there that can tap on the shoulder and say, do you mind coming and telling your story? And, their stories are so powerful and
They
so
are.
inspirational. And you can't
They
make
are.
them up.
And no, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
And that's such an awesome segue, because we do have a story that we want to share. This is someone who went through the program, and her story is powerful. To me, it was powerful because she's not your typical, I put that in quotes, typical homeless person. Again, we had these preconceived notions of what homelessness looks like, right? So this is someone, and you're going to hear her story, an excerpt from her story. We weren't able to bring you the whole story, unfortunately, but this is someone who you would just never believe would end up in this situation. So I'm going to play this clip. Hopefully we're going to be able to play this clip for you so that you can take a listen to her story. And of course, we weren't able to get the sound. Oh, okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about her, though. I'm so sorry, everyone. I really wanted you to hear her story. It's so powerful. But this is someone who, again, I'm going to set it up. She was someone who was successful, had a great job, great career. I'm going to let Neli definitely add in all the detail here. But the framework is, this is someone, one of the many people that have gone through a safe haven that, again, not your typical story, not your typical thought, if you will, of what a homeless person looks like. Neli, can you fill us in on her story? Tell us who she is. And again, this is just one of many, but this is so powerful. Can you share with us about this young lady here?
Well, Hope Larkin's story represents the story of so many Americans today that are suffering from the issues of the opiate epidemic. And she came to a safe haven, I want to say, in about 2006. And she came from a loving to-do family, and was graduated, if I recall the story correctly from her own testimonial, she graduated the top 10% of her class, and got a full ride to a university and was able to go through and graduate from college and end up with a job at the Board of Trade. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the Board of Trade and the culture of the Board of Trade, it's a very fast lifestyle, right?
Yes.
So
a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressures,
Yes.
A lot of partying.
Yeah.
And, she got caught up in that.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to her, she was passed a marijuana joint. And she took, obviously, a toke of that. And it was laced.
Oh, wow.
It was laced with crack. And within 3 years of her having taken that drug at the time, she had lost everything. She lost her family, she lost all of her belongings, and she ended up in the criminal justice system. And
and you look at her picture right there. That's just a snapshot from the video. Unfortunately, I
she's
apologize,
beautiful.
everyone. Yeah, we
She's
couldn't play the video, but look at her.
She's very well spoken.
You would never believe.
You would never believe.
Yeah.
So, whatever the preconceived notion is of a homeless person, just put it aside.
Right.
Because there is no story, out there that's average. Everyone has something that catastrophic that happened in their lives.
Right.
Or they were born into a catastrophic situation where they never had a chance from day one that led them to where they are.
Right.
And no one has ever walked in there and say, look, I planned to be homeless
Right.
and I changed my mind.
That's usually not a life aspiration,
No,
right?
I changed my mind. So no, it doesn't happen. So when, like most people, I also believe that, that was a life choice and a series of bad decisions.
Yes, it was.
And,
it was,
I blamed,
unfortunately.
like many people do, we blame the victim.
Right.
So what I learned, however, is that the issue that led most of the people that we meet to homelessness were issues that were beyond their control.
Right.
It's job loss, it's drug addiction, it's, domestic violence. It's, coming out of the criminal justice system where you got a whole...
Yeah, I did my homework, Nellie.
You did your homework. So,
this little infographic here kind of hopefully paints the picture for those of you who are watching can see it of some of the triggers of homelessness. And you touched upon a few of them. There's the abuse at home. Some folks, it's being incarcerated. But in the case of Hope, it was drug and alcohol. But look at the percentage of that. It's the smallest percentage on this whole chart here. But it can lead to loss of a job. It can lead to homelessness.
right.
Some of the other change in family status, being sick or disabled, and of course, having bills that get out of control. So, these are just some, I'm sure this is not all, but these are just some of the reasons why folks end up homeless. And Nellie, I'm assuming that in all the years that you've been doing this, you've seen at least one example from this chart of folks that end up under your wing.
Well, we see folks that come in with multiple issues. They could start out with a drug addiction. They could end up incarcerated.
Right.
They could end up, with, bills and, not able to even get a job, let alone lose a job.
Yeah.
So, for us, what we realized is that it's like not a boilerplate approach you could take to this. There's no cookie cutter out there. So what's unique about A Safe Haven is our ability to really assess them in all of these areas and connect the dots according to their situation and in the right order.
Yes.
So it's important before you get someone into a job, which is something that we're capable of doing through our staffing business. We have what we call social business enterprises that employ people to give them that, stepping stone to a job. But ultimately, it's our staffing business that really makes the connections with the employers that are looking to hire people that have gone through rigorous job training programs and are really ready to work.
That's
You're
wonderful.
doing people a disservice if you don't get them ready to work and an employer hires them, while they're still dealing with and struggling with some of these issues.
Exactly.
So we are very proud of the fact that people that once they make it through our program have a very, very high success rate of not only getting a job, but also keeping the job. the retention rates are extremely high for the population.
Which is
that we
actually,
serve.
which is actually probably the most important aspect of that, right? I mean, getting the job is one thing, but keeping that job so that they don't end up back in the vicious cycle. I would think that that would be the ultimate goal, and you guys have done a phenomenal job of that. Now, this chart, Nellie, is something, again, doing my homework, I wanted to educate myself and those who are watching a little bit about just how daunting this homeless population and homeless issue is. Now, this is specifically for Chicago. We know that this is a nationwide issue, but this is specifically for Chicago. Now, this was taken all the way up to 2016, and as folks know, I'm a numbers person, so this spoke to me because we can look at this and look at just how grave the issue is. I mean, we're in just in 2016, we were right around the 5,000 mark of those who are technically homeless in Chicago. And not only homeless, but those are the shelter ones. So those are the folks that are, for example, they're under your roof at a safe haven. So that's good. I mean, they're homeless, but at least they have shelter. But, look at how many don't have shelter. We're still close to 2,250 of those who went without shelter in 2016. So, Nellie, how does this translate to your area in terms of the folks that you're able to house, those that you may not be able to house? Is that something that you deal with on a day-to-day basis? Is it something that you're striving to even expand more of the Safe Havens vision to be able to accommodate some of these individuals?
Mm-hmm. Well, the demand for our services is extremely high.
Yeah.
Just to put it in perspective for you, it's a very, very hard number to quantify in terms of the number. As startling and high as those numbers look,
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you it's a lot higher.
Oh, wow.
A Safe Haven last year alone housed about 5,000 unduplicated individuals, and the veteran population really is disproportionately represented.
Mm-hmm.
We actually served about 858 veterans in our program, unduplicated veterans. The number of children was close to about 900 last year.
Wow.
And that is, they come through our program with a parent, and we also took in about 300 youth, which is the 18 to 24-year-olds that everyone talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's really important that people, realize this is a big number. Although it sounds daunting, I'm here to tell you, I know that if we take all of our collective efforts and all of our resources that are dedicated to this issue
Yeah.
and really think strategically and how we're going to deploy those resources in a way that's going to really give us a return on our investment for our taxpayers and our funders,
That's
but
right.
also for the individuals whose time is money, right? So now you have people who are in crisis and an investment of time. Where should they go? That is going to be a place that's going to actually work with them to get them to where they ultimately need to be, and that is to their highest level of independence.
Absolutely.
In the shortest period of time. And again, this is a comprehensive issue. It's a holistic issue. And what I love is that after the last 23 years, we've specifically designed a Safe Haven to meet the demand, for the people that we do serve, and being able to coordinate those services at the right time. Now, we don't do it by ourselves. We have
Right.
a lot of funders, we have a lot of partners, we have a lot of volunteers out there that deserve credit. But I believe we have a model that is scalable, it's repeatable, and it can meet the demand. We are already getting about 10,000 calls a month.
Wow.
And we know that we're not even touching the tip of the
Right.
iceberg
Right.
of what we could be doing. And today, I just want to mention, today, the silver lining is the issue of homelessness is top of mind with what's going on with the hurricanes.
Yes.
And I know
absolutely.
that if, as those people start to trickle into Chicago, if they find their way to a Safe Haven, we will be here and we will help them. And it's thanks to our funders that we're allowed to do that. So thank
That's
you very much for
fantastic.
having me today.
Oh my goodness!
Tracy.
I tell you, we could go on and on. I mean, we've just
Yes.
scratched the surface, everyone. But of course, we're out of time. So unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the conversation short this week.
Yes.
But we hope to have you back in the future. I'm excited to honor you on the 23rd. Looking
excited
forward to
too.
that. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to that, everyone. And so next week, of course, we're going to be back, everyone, to talk about another issue, introduce you to another great Bebo Awards honoree, and talk a little bit more about the work of the foundation and what we do through the Bebo Foundation. You've met some amazing people that are aligned with us, but we're going to take some time to really delve into the mission of the Bebo Foundation and how you can get more are involved. So once again, I thank you so much for spending your time here with us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Take care.